I hope I stay in focus, and if I don't, just stick with me. I'm new to this. Give me a chance. You want to start a business or a side hustle?
Amazing.
But before you rush to go make that Instagram account, or slap together a logo, or build a website,
Just stop.
before you do anything else, let's talk about one thing that will set you apart. Branding done right. Hey everyone, I'm Nick. I'm a Toronto-based graphic designer and a whole lot more, honestly. Today I'm going to define what is a brand, chat about the important parameters to understand in branding, and give you some context about each of those parameters. I care about setting you and your business up for success at the root of your ideas, and maybe inspire a rebrand where it might be due. If you're interested in having me develop branding for you or lead a rebrand, I'll place a link to my inquiry form in the description box below. Let's start by establishing what a brand is. TechTarget defines a brand as a product, service, or concept that is distinguished from other services, products, or concepts, so that it can easily be communicated or marketed. Branding is the process of creating and disseminating the brand name, its qualities, and personality. Branding can be applied to an entire company identity, as well as to individual products, services, or concepts. The way I like to personally understand it in context to something familiar is that a brand itself is like a personality or an entity. I, as a human, am an entity, like yourself. The product, service, or concept that a brand offers is like its passion or purpose for existence. We do things to fulfill a sense of purposefulness or are fueled from this internal passion that we have. In short, a brand is an entity, and what it offers is its purpose. And it all functions like a system. There are three main elements to branding, and it does not need to be complicated. In most cases, the simpler the better. A professor that I had in college in my advertising and copywriting classes named Steve always referenced KISS. Keep it simple, Steve. But we all know it, or you might have heard it as keep it simple, stupid. I'm not stupid shaming nobody here. I'm gonna twist it. But it is important to keep it simple. Always remember to keep it simple. KISS. The three main elements are brand identity, visual identity, and brand strategy. They often get confused, even used interchangeably. Some of you might think, aren't those the same? Close, maybe related, but not quite. Let's dive into it. In my analogy of understanding brand as an entity, the brand identity is like the mind. This regards the voice and tone, values, persona, and mission. When these aspects are clear and understood by a team, it's easy for team members to identify themselves with these traits and further share these traits to audiences to relate to as well. The voice and tone of a brand is the curation of word choices, go-to phrases, and type of formality used when this entity communicates. This is establishing a style of writing that is used amongst all marketing channels, that is uniform and feels like one entity thought and wrote it, rather than a team of copywriters and directors. Some examples are Nike. Their language is motivating and simple. We all know their tagline, just do it. Red Bull speaks in terms that is energetic, thrilling, and adventurous. Apple communications are modern, formal, innovative, and high-end. The values of a brand are the core of its moral compass. This belief system are the fundamentals that guide the decisions, operations, growth, and expansion, and the culture within the company and its extension into audience communities. Some brand values in context are fans' values being expressive and fun. McDonald's puts people first and opens doors to everyone. They value good service and inclusion. Persona is an aspect that keeps your specific target audience in mind. This is a representation of what archetype the entity either is, communicates with, or who they offer to. In my creative process, every project starts with a lot of research. This is the point where I explore target segmentation for my clients to understand their market, my market, create a persona profile or a personified description of the typical consumer the brand is targeting. I found a really good example from an article by Glocalites of brand persona or a personified description. This article is called 7 Great Examples of Brand Personas, and they're going to talk about Airbnb. Airbnb is encouraging travelers to immerse themselves in authentic local experiences. Airbnb differentiates itself from traditional hotels. The company's branding emphasizes community, trust, and personal connections between hosts and guests. This platform offers not just accommodation, but a chance to experience the world like a local, period. That was really good. This invites travelers who desire authentic and cultured experiences, who want to invest in trips that aren't curated like a resort vacation, but want to get groceries in worldly markets, walk through neighborhoods, and understand what it's like to be from that destination for a moment in time. The mission statement directly reiterates the exact purpose and objectives the brand offerings and existence wants to accomplish. This statement is written in the brand's voice and tone, describes its values with a sense of action towards it, and is directed towards everyone suited within the brand persona. So consumers can personally relate to the brand and feel good about supporting it. Think about the brands that you understand and see yourself in. You feel good about supporting them, right?
You love the brands you love.
Some good mission statement examples are, I'm gonna read them. Google, to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Tesla, to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. TED Talks, discover and spread ideas that spark conversation, deepen understanding, and drive meaningful change. 8. So let's do a quick recap. Now let's define and explore what the visual identity is. To keep it within our metaphor, the visual identity is how our entity appears. I, as an entity, have a style of clothing that I gravitate towards, ways that I style my hair or do my makeup. In that respect, visual identity regards itself with elements that include the logo, the color palette, typography, style of imagery, or textures. When these elements are defined, it's easy for a team to utilize them between campaigns, collections, marketing assets, or even deliberately go against these elements in some cases to create a shock factor for their audience or to connect to new audiences. When the visual identity of a brand is cohesive, it becomes easier to navigate projects with different types of creators involved, such as graphic designers, animators, UX UI designers, photographers, videographers, editors. There are so many different types of creatives that can be involved in a single project for a single client. And all these creatives may have very different styles or directions, but when collaborating on a project together, regarded with a single visual identity, they all at least have the single lens to work within. This helps projects have that smooth collaboration, and in its completion, can appear to have been created by a single mind. And in our case, with the brand identity being the compass to the visual identity. Brands usually have a logo. I'll be creating a video soon enough with more information just on the topic of logos. I feel very passionate about logos and logo systems or logo suites. When it's up, I will put a link to that video in the description. To keep the length of this video modest, understand for now that a logo is a uniquely styled word, symbol, or combination of both that represents the brand. Most times, one brand will have a variation of logos, and that's called a logo suite. But again, to keep the length of this video modest, I will be making another video on this. The color palette of a brand are the colors used within the logo, business assets, and marketing assets. There is a hierarchy within a color palette that follows primary, secondary, accent or complementary, then light and dark neutrals. There are definitely different versions of color palette hierarchy amongst all brands, but this one is like typical. Often these colors are chosen in consideration to the color theory and psychology of what the brand wants to evoke in their consumers. When done right, a color palette can make brand recognition an instant and subconscious experience for consumers. Pause the video for a moment and see how many of these colors remind you of any brands in specific. Typography refers to the choices of fonts used within the branding. The functionality is similar to the color palette. The chosen typefaces will be seen on business assets, marketing assets. It should be consistent to build brand recognition with consumers. Within the element of typography, there's also a hierarchy system that's used here too. Think of a magazine or newspaper. There is a headline or display, a subheader, and body. Designers may modify typefaces for logos or headliners to add a unique branded touch, like the tracking, kerning, or spacing between letters, or accentuating the descender or ascender of a letter. There might be other typography systems used in branding, but this is a generic understanding. And again, just like the color palette, when it's done right, the recognition of a brand's typography can be instant and subconscious. Let's see how many you can guess. Pause and give yourself a minute. Imagery is important for a brand because nearly every marketing asset requires photography or some videography. This is when an aesthetic or visual style is needed. This will serve as a guide for anyone hired with a camera to shoot assets for the brand. What type of lighting or perception of depth best showcases the brand's products or services? What are the models doing? How do they pose with the product or engage in the service in the images? Are the shots close or far? Do these take place outside in the city or in nature? Or in a studio with a plain black or white backdrop? In the cozy nook of a cabin or in the vanity of a modern bathroom? To summarize so far, brand identity is the foundational elements that make up the brand. It is the mind of the entity, what it values and how it makes decisions, how it speaks and who it's speaking to. The visual identity regards everything about its appearance. I'm not going to focus too much on brand strategy because it truly belongs in the realm of marketing, specifically belongs to strategists. I'll stay focused to what's relevant for us designers or creatives for this video. For now, understand that brand strategy regards how the entity shows up in the world. What platforms does it use? Why? What integrated marketing channels will best reach a brand's target audience? Is it experiential, digital, print advertisements, or even video commercials? Maybe email marketing or something directly mailed to your home. The key for you to know is that brand strategy involves a lot of research of target audiences and industries to make informed decisions on what platforms and marketing channels are best to communicate on and ultimately invest in. As the final recap of our metaphor, a brand is the entity. A brand identity is the mind and how it works. The visual identity is what the entity looks like. And the brand strategy are avenues of how the entity shows up in the world and shares its mind. We covered a lot today. If you're new to freelancing in the creative space, if you're trying to upscale your business and need to outsource services, I hope this video gives you useful information. You can always come back to this video as a sort of reference for yourself, a friend, someone on your team, or even a client. Just another friendly reminder that if you are interested in having me lead a brand or rebrand project for yourself or your business, there will be a link to my inquiry form in the description below. Give this video a thumbs up and comment what branding makes sparks fly for you. Share with your fellow creatives and subscribe if you haven't already. I know this was a long video and it was packed with information, but thank you so much for watching, and thank you even more if you stayed till the end. Till next time, my friends, happy creating.
Wondering what the was I doing with my hands the whole time? I was playing with my Angelite. It's so smooth, it just feels like an egg. It's wanna, oh, it's so good. I'm gonna eat it, but don't eat it. It just looks like candy, it feels like candy. And this guy that my sister made for me does help me focus. But yeah, bring it with me to all my meetings, all my pitches, all my consultations, every video I record, this be in my hands. I suggest making one of these, especially if you're a fiddler.
Bye.